Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Tactiles. This is your host, Nadia Saleem, Director Human Resources at Computan. And if you follow us on social media, you know what it's about. If not, I got you. This is a video chat show where we bring together experts and influencers from Computan team to discuss a wide range of topics that matter to developers, marketers, and tech lovers. I'm thrilled to introduce our special guest today, all the way from Nigeria. Please give a warm welcome to Kayode, a talented DevOps engineer. He brings a wealth of experiences and knowledge to the table, and I can't wait for him to share some insights into the fascinating world of DevOps with us. Welcome to the show, Kayode.
Thank you very much, Nadia. Nice. I'm very glad to be on this show. Thank you.
So, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very good. I'm doing good today. I'm very pumped up for this one-on-one interview. I think this is my first time on the show, so I'm looking forward to having a nice day. Yeah, that's cool.
That's great. That's great. So, let's dive into it, I guess. So, could you walk us through a typical day in the life of a DevOps engineer?
Yeah, okay. A typical day in the life of a DevOps engineer computer is I think I start my shift by 7 a.m. EST. So first thing I do is just to review my emails to check maybe any pending tasks, updates, notifications from both clients, team members, and apps. We have apps that we monitor and so I do that basic run around in the client login, then I start attending to any pending deployment tasks I have. So usually, because we manage a lot of companies, so there are actually a lot of deployments that we run. So there are sometimes that we will not be able to complete all the deployments it did previous. So we just do the deployments that needs to be completed that day. Then while I'm attending to those deployments, I still get requests from team members and co. So I tend to prioritize those deployments on urgency and based on the details I have. So that's how I just basically, because no two deployments is the same. At Computan, we work on different web applications. We work on Laravel, we work on PHP, we work on WordPress sites too. We work with React and Node.js. So all these different apps have their own different procedures for deployments, and some of them will still require maybe some input from either the developers or the client. So anyone that actually require those, I tend to just make that note early that this and this are still pending, maybe the developers and the client, and that is off my table. So anyone that I have the go ahead to actually, okay, I have all I need to complete this deployment, I just go ahead, deploy it, then I just provide my updates to my team members and then the client, and that's basically how I just go around normally. That's it.
Right. That's, I think, really interesting, and you provided all the details. So, Coyote, when someone asks you what you do and what is DevOps, how do you explain it in your own words?
Yeah, I see DevOps as providing solutions to developers, but it's more of like trying to bridge the gap between development and deploying. So we have to try to like stop that issue whereby developers are saying, "Oh, it's working on my system, it's not working on production." So that's where a DevOps engineer comes into place. Okay, these are the issues that you might face when you are going into production, because the production environment is usually very very different from the development environment. So apart from providing the solutions, I can also recommend best practices to developers. Oh, this is actually what we will want you to actually put in the production. We can't do it this way because this is what the production requires. Because on production too, we're actually using different environments, either the web servers and the operating systems alike. So those are things that we actually just the way DevOps works right here in computer. That's,
Right. So, Coyote, I bet you have a toolbox full of cool gadgets. So, what are some of the tools and technologies you rely on the most in your day to day work?
Well, definitely one of the most important tools I use actually, well, for my system. Then I have though my system is a Windows operating system, but because when it comes to deployment, a lot of our servers are
Mm-hmm.
actually Linux based. So a Linux operating system is actually a very important tool for me. Then there's also the SSH tool, we call that PuTTY. That's actually more like the tool that we use to SSH into the servers or to get access to the servers. And we also have the VS Code. I use VS Code to like manage my code, though I don't build, but I still write some scripting tools and things like so. I have found that VS Code actually helps me to like keep
Mm-hmm.
the structure well. So that's definitely VS Code, and obviously GitHub for repo for version control and version management. Then the different deployment platforms like Azure DevOps, Azure Portal, AWS, DigitalOcean. So because we use a wide range of servers in Computan. We also use WP Engine and then HubSpot. So these are the tools and platforms I actually interact with daily at Computer.
Right. And let's talk about the pipelines. How do you go about setting up those continuous integrations, continuous deployment, and continuous testing pipelines in your projects? Share some secrets with us.
Okay, well, like I said, it's more like providing solutions to the developers. So the first thing I do anytime I get a new project is just, okay, I'll first do an overview of the project. I'll see what stack it is being written in. If it's maybe .js, Laravel. So with that, I already have an idea of how to go ahead with the deployment and the continuous integration, continuous and the testing and everything. So once I have that thing, I now, if there's any
Mm-hmm.
clarification I need, I just consult with the developer. So does your deployment need a custom script? Do you need what do you how is your test written? Do you have do you have a good testing scenario that can I alert you when there are errors in your test? Do you want how do you want monitoring to be going? So those response actually now determines how I'm going to like structure the continuous integration and continuous deployment pattern. Now deployment now is once the integration has been done, then depending on the platform we are actually pushing the project to, that will also now determine how I'll configure the release pipeline to connect and for that to be automated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just the simple way I go about it.
Right. And Coyote, picture this. A company is itching to dive into DevOps. So, what's the first piece of advice you would like to give them?
Yeah, I'll advise any company that DevOps is actually a very integral, important part of software development. So, but and this the advice I'm going to give them is also going to be very important, no matter what, even if they are not going to DevOps. Is try to have like a good communication and documentation channel, so that way you get to have there will be a lot of disparity between development and
Mm-hmm.
deployment. So you get to deploy, you get to have a seamless process. So the developer, the client, and everybody knows how the structure of the deployment is going to work. So that way it makes DevOps also and deployment in general easy for you as a company. So a good communication and then documentation platform.
Right. And we all know that websites don't just magically appear. How does DevOps come into play in the wide world of website development?
Now, okay, DevOps actually it helps to like speed up and automate, makes it easier, makes the process of website develop. We've been developing websites for years before the advent of the term DevOps, but but over time, a lot of tools and complications have actually creeped into. It's not just dealing with HTML and CSS anymore. It's not just one tool. So there are a lot of tools. So now DevOps also now helps you to manage the integration of those tools. So DevOps actually makes website as it becomes complicated. DevOps makes website development easier. So
And on that note, we truly appreciate your time, effort, and willingness to share your experiences with us, Kayode. Your contributions have undoubtedly added immense value to our show. Thank you so much for giving us your time and joining us today.
Thank you very much, my dear. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to actually share my experience on your show. And I look forward to maybe you can also have maybe another section. It might be possible, maybe another set of questions. All right. Thank you.
It was pleasure having you on the show. And to our audience, stay with us for more fascinating discussions like these with tech experts from around the globe. Until then, take care, everybody.